Welcome to Panels and Borders. I'm Dominic. In this video, I'm going to be reviewing Cyberfrog Blood Honey by Ethan Van Sciver. So this comic has been kind of controversial, not nearly as controversial as Jawbreakers, but this one has been controversial because it has been very late, which is not uncommon when you go into some of these crowdfunding things. First crowdfunding thing I went into, it was a year late. And that was Bart Sears' Drawing Powerful Heroes and Babes. Drawing Powerful Heroes, I think the name was. So anyway, this came in the mail the other day, and it's 48 pages. And so, first of all, I just want to say it came in perfect condition. Now, I know some people were saying that some of the pages were water damaged, but that wasn't the case with mine at all. There was nothing wrong with the comic. It came in perfect condition. And second thing is the cover is really nice. It's got that Coronium cover, which is a big throwback to comic books of the 90s. A lot of 90 comics did that, had like gimmick covers. And this was one of the gimmicks. They would have that chrome cover. And you can see there's the back of the cover. And then the next thing would be the artwork. So Ethan Van Sciver is a pretty solid artist. So it's very detailed. And he does like the science fiction stuff. I find he does that really well. And the colors are fantastic. And it's by colorist Kyle Ritter. And the colors are dynamite. So as for the story, the story's not bad. The only thing I found the writing in the story, like the story is had a very compressed feel to it. Like there's like a lot put in these 48 pages, and I don't think 48 pages was enough for the story that Ethan Van Sciver was trying to tell in this comic. Because in the comic it has to deal with, so spoilers, I'm going to talk about some of the plot. So basically the plot is this alien ship goes to Earth to find a protector because there's this alien swarm of basically alien wasps, giant wasps, on their way. So it lands in a swamp and it wants to pick a human, but it kind of gets a bit damaged, and so it has to pick the next best thing, a frog, and transforms a regular frog into Cyberfrog using alien technology, and then chooses a salamander and turns that one into Salamandroid to be his like protector older brother. And then in the comic he ends up meeting his friend Heather Swain, and then the wasps take over the planet, and basically the story ends very abruptly. But there's a lot going on here. So there's an origin story. You have to establish the relationship with Cyberfrog and Heather Swain, and then you have to then you got to have the alien invasion. So it's basically a big event happening at the same time because they basically take over the whole Earth. And then there's a bit of a time jump because Cyberfrog kind of gets encased in almost like these weird pearls. And then when he finally breaks out, and it's a big, huge time jump, like 30 years later. Because the first part of the story takes place in the 90s. So there's a lot going on. So you have to also establish the relationship between Heather Swain it's almost like the story's almost written in a way it kind of assumes you're going to know the relationship between Cyberfrog and Heather Swain, and you're going to know like their background and how they are connected as friends and how deep their friendship is. It's almost, so it felt really compressed, like a lot putting in there into this comic. It should have been like you could have made just one comic out of his origin. Like you could have done a 48-page comic just of his origin, just him meeting Heather Swain and kind of setting up that relationship and all that. That's where I think it's going to be kind of hard to do this kind of a format and tell a decent story. Like I think that the story he's trying to tell would work a lot better in a monthly form. If you could put out a Cyberfrog comic once a month, and then you could have his origin story and then build up the relationship between him and Heather Swain over a period of like a year, 6 months to a year. And then at the end of that year, that would be the first big event, would be the wasps invading. So that's what I found about the story. I found the story was kind of very compressed feel to it. As far as the artwork, he really shines with the artwork. I found it like it's really detailed. And it's really paced well. I became familiar with Ethan Van Sciver when I used to collect Batman and Superman comics back in the early 2000s, because he did a run on that, and that's where I first became aware of Ethan Van Sciver. But yeah, the artwork is really, really well done, and the colors are awesome. Easily as good, if not better, than anything Marvel and DC has on the shelf. So now I'm going to talk about cost. And this is the most expensive comic I've gotten on Indiegogo or any crowdfunding, because it costs the same as a Knuckle Bomb, but it's 48 pages, so I worked it out as, so that's 72 cents per page, where Knuckle Bomb was 55 cents per page. And so I know you're probably paying for the name. Ethan Van Sciver is a pretty big name in comics and stuff, and you're getting top-notch professional penciling work and coloring and stuff like that. So I am curious to see where the story goes, so I will pick up part 2. But as far as cost go, it is the most priciest one I've gotten so far. So now let's talk about extras that came with the book. So all these crowdfunding things, they always come with a few extras added on with the book. So Sciver Frog came with a decal and 2 collector cards with really nice artwork. One is the cover again, and one is a Salamandroid, and a bookmark. So that's what it came with. I found Knuckle Bomb had a few more cards. Like, this could have been like a few more cards maybe, where Knuckle Bomb had a few more cards, because he already had like a lot of the images already done, so I don't think it would have been that big of a deal to include a few more cards or something. It's just a minor gripe though. So I guess just to wrap this video up, would I get Volume 2? Yes, I'll get Volume 2. See how it goes. Now the big gripe though is now that because there's this is one thing these Indiegogo guys and independent creators got to get hammered out, is the lateness. So a lot of people waited a really long time for this comic. I know I did, and there's some people that still haven't got their Sciver Frog comic. And those are even people who are living in the States. Usually it takes a little bit longer for like the stuff to get up here in Canada. So the guys got to get that ironed out. Like, make sure that if you say it's going to be delivered in 3 or 4 months' time, that it is. Because Ethan Van Sciver made a lot of enemies in the comic book community. There's a lot of people with all eyes on him, wanting him to fail. So they're ready to jump on him for any reason also. He's really got to knock it out of the park with these. That's just my opinion. But would I get the second volume? Yes. And like I said, the story is the weakest part of this book, and easily the strongest part is the artwork. So that's everything I got to say in this video. Let me know what you think in the comments section, and I will see you at the next one. Thank you to all of my subscribers, and thank you for watching this video. And if you're new to the channel, like, subscribe, and share. And don't forget to hit the bell icon for notification when new videos are uploaded.